Hi, I'm Coach Clarissa, and today we are going to go through a quick body weight workout. So our first exercise is the hip raise or the floor bridge. You probably would know it as the bridge exercise. For this exercise is going to work to strengthen the glutes, but also the core. So working the transverse abdominis, the muscle that holds all of our organs in place. For the hip raise, you want to do, you can do like up to 20 repetitions, even 25. It's very, very important to ensure that you're using your breathing here to really help to strengthen and align the pelvic floor as we move through that exercise. All right, we're going to do an exercise called the hip raise. You might know it as bridge, glute bridge, but this is an exercise for the glutes, but it also really helps to strengthen the pelvic floor and the transverse abdominis, which is not, the muscles we see on the outside of the stomach, but the muscles on the inside that hold all of our organs in. So in part of our training the core breath and stability and really making sure we're strong from the inside out, which is what we want to make sure that we're doing this exercise correctly. It's a really great foundational exercise. So we're going to start by lying back, and you're going to try to get the feet underneath the hips. So you should be able to touch your heels. And then we want our back to be on the floor. We don't want a big gap here. So really relaxing through the abdomen and through the back to ensure that the spine is neutral. Hands go by the side, get those shoulders out of your ears. And then you are going to press the hips up. Now, when we are here, we should feel that the glutes are contracted. There is not that much going on in the quads. Most of the lift is coming from the glute. But you should also feel that you have engagement here in your core. So as you inhale, you can press up, and then exhale, you're going to contract. So as you exhale, even the glutes should contract a little bit more. And then we're going to lower down. So you roll down. It's not a hinge. You're rolling the spine down to the floor. And then we want to ensure that the pelvis is neutral. If we're doing this with our hips stuck up, we're going to have back pain. So neutral pelvis, which maybe for some of us means tuck the pelvis a little. Can you see that? And then keep that tucked, and we're going to inhale, press up, and exhale, roll down. And that contraction through the core with the breath is going to help increase stability, but it's also going to help increase strength. So inhale, press up, and then exhale, roll down. Again, inhale and exhale. If you feel like you're just hinging at the hips, that's really not doing a lot besides putting contraction through the spine. So we really want to make sure that we're rolling it down. We really want to use the breath to drive the movement up, the exhale to lower it. If you're making this harder, you can use the exhale, hold it, and then at the end of your exhale, go ahead and roll down before you take another inhale and press back up. And that is your hip raise or floor bridge. From there, we will move into a push-up. So push-up is one of my personal favorite exercises, and it's truly just a dynamic plank. The thing about the push-up is that we really want to make sure that we're keeping our arms like in that arrow shape, not the T shape. That way we're not putting too much load on our fragile shoulder joints. Push-up is going to work core, it's going to work shoulders, it's going to work also the stabilizers, so the serratus here, the muscle in the back, it'll also work that. And with push-ups, you can start anywhere between, like however many you can do. And again, working yourself up upwards of 20, 25, even higher. It really just depends on what your goal is, where your endurance level is at. All right, we're going to do a body weight push-up. So a body weight push-up is simply just a plank with movement. So we start out with the hands pretty much underneath the shoulders. We're not, with the push-up, we want to be mindful that our elbows, see how my hands are just right outside my shoulders? That's the position we want. But we want to be mindful that our elbows are tracking down slightly. We don't want this. This puts a lot of pressure on the wrist, but also on the shoulders. So if we're here, we're more protected. Okay, so plank position, right? You're going to inhale. See how my back is flat? We're going to keep our back flat for the whole exercise. You're going to inhale, bend both elbows, lower, press through the hands, come back up. So the exhale's on the way up. You want to feel this mostly in the chest. You're going to feel it somewhat in the front of the shoulders, but it should be primarily chest. So a little bit here on the front of the shoulders, all of the chest. You should feel the core working a lot. We're keeping that nice flat back here, like we're doing a plank. We're not doing this, that's not a push-up. We're not doing this, that's not a push-up. We're not doing this, that's not a push-up. We have push-up modifications. If you need one, let your coach know. But we are keeping that nice plank shape through the entire full range of motion of the push-up. We are extending our arms here, right? And we're bending the elbows, keeping them at about a 45, not a 90, 45. And then we press through the shoulders and come back up. So as we're pressing up, you're feeling all the muscles here. These are sometimes referred to as lats, but really it's the rotator cuff muscles on the back that are stabilizing. So those are actively working in this exercise. So again, we're going to inhale, lower, exhale, push back up. So there you can see how as you push through the shoulder, this all engages here around the shoulder joint to protect the shoulder. You're going to feel some of it working, but mostly you should feel your chest working. There should be zero pain in the shoulders, zero pain in the elbows. If you're struggling with that, please let your coach know, and we can always modify it. But that is your push-up. From there, we're going to work on just a body weight squat, or you can work on your squat form, wherever you are at in your particular fitness journey. With the body weight squat, we're equally loading the legs on this exercise. So we're working quad, we're working hamstring, glutes, and core. With the squat, and especially with body weight squat, before you move into any kind of added resistance, it is really, really an awesome opportunity to work on properly utilizing your breath during the squat, because as you progress in your fitness, that's really going to set you up for really big success. If we have that breathwork piece nailed, it will really help us become stronger and keep our core safe, keep our pelvic floor safe, and really help you be able to climb up in numbers on your squat. So we're going to work just a body weight squat. With the squat, there can be a huge tendency to have the knees cave in. Often we see folding. So we really want to make sure that we're set up correctly. So our feet go slightly outside the hips. Toes can be pointed forwards, toes can be pointed slightly out. You're going to make sure that you're standing up nice and straight and tall. And hands can go, I usually put my hands here like I'm praying, but anyhow, we're going to inhale, we're going to squat. So you're hinging back slightly with the hips, your knees bend. It's all one continuous motion. We're dropping down to where our thighs are parallel. You're going to push through the feet, come back up. So it's inhale here, draw all those core muscles together. As you're drawing them together, down here on the bottom of the squat, you should feel that your stomach is drawn in, not pressed out. And then here we're going to exhale on the way back up. So from the side, it looks something like this. Inhale. And then exhale. So you're pushing through the whole foot. We've got our foot in complete contact with the floor, the heel, the big toe, the pinky toe. We don't want heels to come up. We don't want toes to come up. We want our whole foot planted. And as we're coming back up, we're really using that whole foot to push against the floor and drive us up. When you do that, you're going to feel your whole leg is working. So the quad, the hamstring, the inner thigh, you'll even feel it in your calf a little bit. You should feel your core working. You're going to feel glutes. So again, we're going to inhale, press through that whole foot, and come back up. And that is your body weight squat. And then from there, we're just going to work on the deadlift movement. So if we can nail that hinge, right, for the deadlift, then we can practice that and practice that. You're still going to get activation in the hamstrings, still going to get activation in the glutes, the core, and even the lats. And that's without using any weight. When we go, if we nail that form and then we take that to whatever sort of resistance we want to add to it, whether it's dumbbells, whether it's a bar, whether it's a kettlebell, then we'll have that form. It's just going to be second nature. And so when we go in and we do the deadlift, which some people can tend to be a little bit hesitant about, we won't have that fear of the movement because we've already really learned how to activate the proper muscles, where we don't want to feel it, and how to use your core to help you brace and keep everything stable and safe and strong during the deadlift. With your form here on both the squat and the deadlift, again, you can start with a few, work your way up to 20 or so body weight movements. We don't have to keep the reps lower unless that's where our maximum is. So when we're building strength, we do always want to try to increase difficulty. So whether we are adding more reps, whether we are slowing those reps down, and then once we graduate with form, we can start adding those weights into the exercise to again progress the exercise further that way. That way we're working to build those healthy, strong bones that we all want. So the deadlift can be an exercise that scares a lot of people. They're worried about back injury. But truly, your back should not be working in the deadlift. So we're gonna just practice form. You can stand with your feet directly underneath your hips and toes out. Place your hands on your hips. And all we're gonna do is we're going to keep not lock the knees. See, my knees are soft. And we're going to stick the hips back. So our spine is not bending, our butt is simply going back. So we're pushing our butt back as far as we can. As we're doing that, you're maintaining neutral spine. So you can see here that my spine is not rounded. Push your hips back, try to hit the back wall with your hips. Now, here, for me too, it's easy to have your toes come up. We don't want that. We want your foot to be anchored to the floor. And because as we're here, where we're parallel and we come to the end of the movement, hamstrings should be very long. You should feel them very stretched. Glutes are active. Here, we're going to simply press through the foot and stand back up. So we're going to inhale. Well, I am in a minute. And exhale when we come back up. So with the deadlift, there is a portion where you are actively holding your breath. Now, that is protecting your spine because if you remember, the core is from here to here, right? It's from our shoulders down to our hips. It's all of the muscles. It's front and back. And when we inhale, we have expanded everything, right? If we are breathing properly, we have expanded all of this. So it is solid. So we're inhaling at the top of the movement, or if we're to do this properly, we would be inhaling here at the bottom, right? So big breath in, feel the rib cage expand, feel the back expand. And you're holding that in that hinged position. Your hamstrings should be very long, your glutes should be engaged, and your core, all of this is very tight. And then here, we're going to exhale on the way up. That is going to help drive power, and that breath is going to protect your spine. So let's try that again. Hinge, push your hips way, 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 way back, way further back than you think they need to go. And we're gonna inhale at the bottom, and then we're gonna push through the foot, and exhale as we stand up. So when we're doing that, the spine is protected, the spine is not working. If we are, I don't have anything here, I can use this. If we are doing our lift, here's what we'll do our lift with, and we are like this, we are going to hurt our back. If we are, what are some other words? If we are doing our lift and we allow the hips to come up first, that's going to drive through the lower back. So it's all one movement. You're pulling that bar in close to your shins. You're gonna inhale, you're gonna squeeze the armpits to the side, and you're gonna stand up. Here. So do it again. Push those hips way, 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 way back. Inhale. Keep those arms tight, and exhale. So we're not shrugging at the top. We're simply keeping the arms tight to the sides. I call it locking the lats down. Some people say, think about squeezing a lemon, fruit, orange, whatever, in your armpit, and that'll help keep your chest open, because if we allow the shoulders to come forwards, where are we rounding? We're rounding through the upper back. So again, here, set it up, hinge back, 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 back. Make sure that whole foot is in contact with the floor. Get those shoulders back, and then exhale as we stand up. So with a deadlift, you're only gonna feel it in your hamstrings and in your glutes. You are possibly going to feel it in the core if you have enough core engagement going on. You should not feel it in your back, because your back is not moving the weight. Your legs are moving the weight. And that is your form for the deadlift. If you are still struggling with that, please let your coach know, and we will walk you through it step by step. But thank you for joining me today for our body weight workout. I hope that you enjoyed it. Maybe you learned something, maybe you hated it. Either way, I would love to know. Please drop a comment below and let me know. And otherwise, be sure to like and subscribe so that you can continue to get our videos.